ॐ आनन्दमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे Sri Aurobindo Mira is my refuge. Namaste, good evening, Vande Matram, welcome all of you. So this discussion will be for now, it is on the force from above and the work. Very interesting topic, of course, we are going to discuss in brief. That is a force. Definitely we know scientifically a force is required for the properly carrying out the work. To get the work completed, some set of force is required. But here we are going to discuss something, that force from above, that is descending. With the descent of this higher force, how the work is being done without the least fatigue. So this thing we'll discuss in this session, of course. From the writing of Sri Aurobindo, we'll try to quote it and we'll try to discuss it in brief. So Sri Aurobindo quotes, during the course of sadhana, one can learn to draw upon the universal life force. That is very requirement, the very important thing. One must learn to draw upon the universal life force and replenish the energies from it. That force has to come, and from it you have to get the energy. But usually the best way to learn to open oneself to the mother's force and becomes conscious of it, supporting, moving and pouring into the system and giving the energy needed for the work, whether in the mind, mental, vital or physical. So we know that force is there behind the proper accomplishment of work. But here we are discussing support, that is a higher force. Of course, it is descending from above. And here in the course, this is the mother's force. Specifically, here in the course, this is the mother's force. When it is coming down, it is supporting the system, moving and pouring into the system, giving the energy needed for the work, whether it is mental, vital, or physical. Then next, Sri Aurobindo tries to explain very beautifully. There is naturally a higher force. Again, the higher force descending from above, higher force above the present universal force, and it is that which will transform the nature. With the descent of this higher force from above, there will be the process of transformation in nature, and take up the mental, vital, and physical energies and change them into the own likeness. That is the most requirement for this transformation is here in the force. And this force, it has to come down from the above, and practically focuses upon the mother's force. And we have to get the mother's force for this transformation, and that opening is required. Against your in the force, it is a force that comes and pushes the to work. That force comes, you can't be lazy, you can't simply sleep, because that is a big force. It tries to push you for work, and it is legitimately a part of the spiritual life as others. It is a special energy that takes hold of the worker in the being and fulfills itself through him. See, this is the great force. It is the thing, it pushes that so that work will be, higher work will be accomplished, and there will be no fatigue, no laziness, nothing. To work with a full energy like this one is quite salutary. The only thing is not to overdo it. This is to avoid any exertion or recoil a physical inertia. That has to be taken care of. Most thing is to avoid any exertion or to recoil to a physical inertia. As far as the dedication, make the sankalpa. Once word comes there in the course in of course it is on Sanskrit. Sankalpa always to offering it, that offering consecration, it should be there. Remember and pray when you can. For this connection with this work, there should be a prayer, and remembrance will be there, and offering will be there. This is to fix a certain attitude. That the attitude, already we have seen that work is done in proper attitude, that is meditation. This attitude, the right attitude is required for this. Afterwards, the force can take advantage of the of this key to open the deeper dedication with you. initially we are dedicated, that another dedication is required, and this deeper dedication will come only with the touch of this higher force. And with for that one, someone has to open himself and consecrated. These are the essential conditions, and these are the most required conditions. Again, here in the course of the force from above is the force of the higher consciousness. It is very clear, Sri Aurobindo has clarified clearly, it is the force of the higher consciousness that from behind works as a mental, vital, or physical force according to the need. According to the need, it works on the vital, physical, and mental. When the being is open to it, once again, the same thing, same question, it has to be done, you have to open it. And there is a certain passivity to its working. It takes the place of the personal activity, and the person is a witness of its action. So, whole the way, entirely, person is a witness of his action. So, this is for his place of it takes the place of the personal activity, because it has to come, it has to act, it has to take the place of the personal activity. Here, the personal is a witness of the action, because the force is coming through him, and he is with the instrument. Through him, everything is done, and the person is, of course, a witness in his action. Then here in the course again, very often when the mind and the body are inert, so in the course that aspect also is taken care of, is considered by Sri Aurobindo. When mind and body are inert, the action still go on by the push by from behind. So even if the mind and the vital are not actually in that proper connection or proper action, still then with that push of the force of that higher consciousness, it is there and still go on with the push from behind. In the ordinary course of yoga, the physical strength is replaced by a yogic strength, very minute. So physical strength is replaced by the yogic strength in yoga, and yogic life force which keeps up the body and makes work. But the absence of this force, the body is denuded of power, inert, and tamasika. So just imagine one example, one beautiful message was given by the mother: with the divine life is bliss. Without the divine life is a painful illusion. Like this. So if that push is there, the impulsion is there, that work is there. So everything goes on changing, and this transformation comes. It is a very interesting experience, of course. And without it, in the absence of this force, the body is denuded of power. Nothing. Shakti, without Shakti, a Shiva is like just a last Sabo. So inert and tamasic. This can only be remedied by the whole being opening to the yogic yoga Shakti in each of the planes, like yogic mind force, yogic life force, and yogic body force. This is the thing, it is called remedied by the whole being opening to the yoga Shakti in each plane, yogic mind place, force, yogic life force, and yogic body force. Then another question Sri Aurobindo of course answers, with the right consciousness always there would be no fatigue. So if the attitude is right, if the attitude is proper, then there will be absolutely no fatigue within the sadhaka, within the worker. When doing this worker, you had the force in you. That force was there acting upon you. It was there in very much helpful when you were acting, and the right consciousness, feeling the vital and the physical. Afterwards, with the relaxation of the ordinary physical consciousness came up. With when you relaxed, you took rest, then that the ordinary physical consciousness came up and brought back the ordinary reaction like fatigue and sciatia, like this. So with that force, everything was going on from force from the higher consciousness. Things were going on. When you relaxed, without the proper help of this force, things went otherwise. Ordinary reaction, fatigue, and sciatica, like sciatica, like it came upon. So again, the thing to be discussed on tiredness. During the course here, when you feel tired, don't overstrain yourself, but rest. If you feel tired, don't take the overstrain, just try to take rest. Doing only your ordinary work, restlessly doing something or other all the time is not the way to cure it. So you have to be very conscious about this tirelessness, this fatigue. It must be taken care of. It must be cured. It must be taken. That sadhak must take rest rather than overstraining. To be quiet without and within is what is needed when there is the sense of fatigue. Within and without, that quiet without and within, that is the required condition in the sense of fatigue time. There is always a strength near you. You know, you must remember there is a strength near you which you can call in and will remove all these things. So, this power you must take rest. There is a call in you, around you, and over you. So, this force must be called back, and you must learn to be quiet in order to receive it. If this force has to come, it has to possess you. So, for this, all these things, you must be quiet. Yes, it is a mistake to overstrain is there as there is a reaction afterwards. If suppose somebody you are taking the strains overstrains, there must be reaction. So it must not happen, and afterwards you will feel it. If there is energy, all must not be spent. The energy, entire energy, must not be sent. Some must be stored up so as to increase the permanent strength of the system. This is there. It is very difficult because without knowing the process, if somebody goes naturally, अगर वो ख़त्म हो जाएगा तो बस रास्ता ही नहीं है, पढ़ने को ऐसे गिर ही जाएंगे और रास्ता ही कुछ नहीं. So overstraining brings inertia off. That overstraining brings inertia off, and we are simply we are digging, then we are filling like this situation. Everybody has inertia in his nature. The question is of the greater or less operation. That inertia is there, how you have overcome and how much you have overcome. This is the question. This is the operation. If too much work done in the quality of the work deteriorates, you have the capacity, you have the this thing strength, you have this idea. If you take the extra quality of the work deteriorate with too much work in spite of zest of the worker. So just imagine what is possible and what is qualitative and quantitative, everything must be in coordination properly. The idleness must, of course, go. You are feeling something, some idleness, it must go. But sometimes I think you have to put too much the other way to be able to work with the full energy necessary, but the able not to work is also necessary. Do work, not to work, and in between there is a process you have to overcome. You have to be very justful, and you have to be very observing in your nature and see what can should be done. What you say about ordinary conversion is quite conversation is quite correct, and all that should fall away is very necessary for the true consciousness. The thing that is actually resisting, that is putting some pressure, not letting you to work properly, that must be thrown out actually. So against your in the course here, skill in works will come when there is opening to the physical mind and the body. That skill is for the skill, it is required, the opening is required for the physical mind and the body. There is no need of to be anxious about that now. So in the course of the action it will come. Don't do your best and don't be anxious about it. Then Sri Aurobindo gives very good quotations. Think of your work only when it is being done, not before nor after. At the required time, you just think. Second thing, don't let your mind go back on a work that is finished. It is over. Don't try to waste your time. It belongs to the past, and all handlings of it is a waste of power. And then next, don't let your mind labor in anticipation on the work that has to be done. The power that acts in you will see it and it will be done in time. So you have to be very conscious. That is the most required.